For the thousands of people following her account, Pooja Jatov's life looked like an endless highlight reel. She shared a stream of travel photos, dance videos, and small, smiling moments that projected a world of effortless joy. One specific video on her profile captures what seems to be a perfect family moment. Pooja beams at the lens, holding hands with a man, while a young child stands happily beside them. But that man isn't her husband. He is her brother-in-law, and the child is the result of a secret relationship that would eventually tear the household apart. Today, that same influencer is behind bars, convicted of planning the assassination of her own mother-in-law. By curating every pixel of her digital presence, a grieving widow built a flawless decoy, shielding her online audience from the reality of a household she was actively dismantling from the inside. The family first opened their doors to Pooja in 2019, following the death of her husband, Kalyan, in a road accident. She presented herself to his mother, Sushila, as a helpless orphan with no one else to turn to. Sushila responded with total support. She took Pooja in, funded her college education, and ensured that Kalyan's insurance payouts were settled directly into Pooja's accounts to secure her future. In 2020, the pandemic forced the world into isolation. The Rajput family found themselves locked together, and within those closed walls, the boundaries of the household began to blur. Pooja began an affair with her older brother-in-law, Santosh. Within 2 years, she had displaced Santosh's wife, Ragini, and given birth to his child. As the atmosphere in the house turned toxic, Pooja's social media activity spiked. She began uploading romantic videos with Santosh, using trending music to frame their illicit relationship as a public love story. The family's act of compassion had brought a stranger into their most private space, one who began to thrive as the household around her fractured. With the first wife gone, Pooja demanded a legal transfer of the family's assets. Specifically, she wanted 8 bighas of their agricultural land put in her name. Sushila blocked the request. The mother-in-law had grown suspicious of Pooja's motives, even questioning if Kalyan's original fatal accident had been as random as it seemed. In May of 2025, Pooja moved out of the village and back to her hometown of Gwalior. From this new distance, she began coordinating her next move. She reached out to her father-in-law and Santosh with a request. She wanted them to travel to Gwalior for her daughter's birthday celebration and a medical appointment regarding a second pregnancy. The invitation worked. Both men traveled to Gwalior, leaving Sushila unprotected and completely alone in the village home in Kumharir. While the men were occupied in Gwalior, Pooja's sister and a hired accomplice were already on their way to the village. Pooja had cleared the board. By pulling the men to Gwalior, she ensured she would have witnesses to her whereabouts while her mother-in-law was isolated miles away. On the morning of June 24th, the 2 killers entered the home. They bound Sushila to her bed and used a pair of tongs to force a cloth gag deep into her throat to silence her. They administered a lethal injection of poison. Before leaving, they broke into cupboards and threw jewelry across the room, creating a staged robbery. At the exact moment the life was leaving her mother-in-law, Pooja was in Gwalior, highly active. She spent that morning recording a turmeric glow skincare trend for her followers. She remained entirely calm, focusing on her lighting and her angles while her family was being murdered. The skincare video served as a digital alibi. She used the triviality of a beauty trend to mask the reality of a professional execution. Police initially looked at the displaced wife, Ragini, but her alibi was solid. Seeing the investigation falter, Pooja tried to redirect the heat, openly accusing her own father-in-law of being the one behind the murder. Investigators began looking into Pooja's history rather than her accusations. They found a record that changed the entire direction of the case. In 2014, Pooja had been arrested for hiring hitmen to kill her first husband. She had actually met Kalyan for the first time while they were both appearing at the same court complex for separate crimes. Faced with the evidence of her past and the contradictions in her story, the digital image Pooja had worked so hard to maintain finally collapsed. She confessed to the entire plot. The family home became a crime scene only after it was opened to a stranger in a moment of grief. It is a reminder that the smiling faces we scroll past can be the most effective masks for what is happening behind the screen.